Judicial Watch is suing the FBI for their investigations following January 6th. They say May have abused Americans' financial privacy. One America's John Hines spoke to Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton.
The government watchdog group Judicial Watch has filed a Freedom of Information lawsuit with the Department of Justice about communications between the FBI and some financial institutions concerning people in D.C., Maryland, and Virginia on January 5th and 6th. Tom Fitton, as president of Judicial Watch, what do you make of these reports, unconfirmed, that one bank in particular, quote, actively but secretly engaged in the hunt for extremists in cooperation with the government and gave the FBI information about some of their customers who fit a certain profile regarding activities on January 6th, sir?
Well, were the privacy rights of individual Americans violated by this collusion between the FBI and the banks? The reports indicate that if you made a transaction, a banking transaction, or rented something in the D.C. area on in and around January 6th, at least one bank, specifically Bank of America, was sending information over the FBI. And we had asked for these records. We don't believe it's limited to Bank of America, but that's what the initial reporting focused on. And the FBI played games with us. They stonewalled. We finally had to re-explain to them what we were looking for. You know what their response was, John? Obviously, we sued, but then their response is they can't confirm or deny that any such records exist. So it's a non-denial denial on top of the stonewalling, and we want information about whether banks vacuumed up transaction data of American citizens and let the FBI cull through it.
Is it not, is it customary, I guess, for financial institutions to disclose this kind of information about their customers? Is that something which is done as a matter of routine by financial institutions? Do we know about that, sir?
Well, I hope not. I don't think it's routine. Certainly if the FBI had information that a specific person was in Washington, D.C., and there's video of them assaulting a police officer at the Capitol, hey, go and issue your subpoena to the bank and figure out, connect the person to the banking transaction to confirm he's there. There's a legitimate subject of investigation. You have a legitimate subpoena, as opposed to this seemingly, of course we don't know, but it looks like based on the reports, they just went on a fishing expedition and called up information of countless Americans and then started rifling through it.
Is this, do you think, an extension or perhaps a continuation of some of the overreach that maybe you have been dealing with over these past few years with regard to the FBI seeking personal information about individuals that maybe they ought not to have access to? I'm thinking of a lot of these FISA requests that, of course, you have been following up on.
You target Trump world, you target people you think are Trump supporters, the rules get thrown out the window. We see that time and time again with the Justice Department and the FBI. And I'd like the FBI to explain to us, and we don't obviously want the banking records of anybody. We want to know whether they were taking up and collecting data of banking transactions of Americans, no matter what they were doing on January 6th.
And so what is the recourse now for Judicial Watch? Is this a situation where you go back to court to get a judge to perhaps issue another order? Or what is the follow-up now at this point, do you suppose?
Well, the court, I think, ultimately is going to have to decide whether this refusal to confirm or deny the records exist is legitimate. And then even if the court rules for us, there's more fighting to be had and more litigation to be had over gaining access to some of those records, because given the FBI's approach here, it's going to be stonewalling no matter what happens. And the question is, did the banks just do this on their own, or did they do it at the request of the FBI? It's going to be interesting to see. So the banks may have some liability here or some accountability as well.
So it looks like there is more to be learned through this series of lawsuits, and so we'll have to stay tuned. I guess that's the net. Is that right, Mr. Fitton?
John, you can be sure that Nancy Pelosi's Select Committee won't be looking at this question, and it will be up to Judicial Watch to ask this and pursue the other lawsuits we're doing about the January 6th questions that are outstanding.
Very good. Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton, thank you for talking to us on One American News, sir. It's good to catch up with you.
Thank you.